Well, thank you for the question. Because aside from being a novelist and a critic, what I've been over the last 25 years is a teacher. I mean, I've been in classrooms teaching, and that's a really important part of my identity. And this is something that I'm quite passionate about these days, and more so now. Um, because, I mean, I have all kinds of ways in which I'm critical of the university, but I also value the university. It's a place where I've spent a great deal of my life, and I think it is a space that we need to defend. So the public humanities is a term which is becoming increasingly used to think about the university and the humanities particularly in relationship to large public questions. But I also think it's something which we need to think about very, in very kind of deliberate ways, because both as we try to get relevance in the larger public, I think it's quite possible that the universities are also under threat, under attack. It's very good for people who are in power that humanities scholars don't try to talk to the public, because they don't necessarily want us to be raising critical questions. So the public humanities, I'll say maybe a couple of things and then see where the conversation goes. One thing, this has got nothing to do with the larger obligations we all have as academics, but simply the way to think about public humanities is that on the one hand, when I talk to my family members, relatives, and I tell them I'm an English professor, or they know that I'm an English professor, they think that they can talk to me about everything. Right? They've watched the movie Guy, so of course they can tell me, they can have a conversation with me on complete, I'm going to use this word very deliberately, equality. No, we are not equal. I've spent a lot of time, studying these things. But on the one hand, they will do that. The reason I bring that up is because when you're a humanities professor, you're dealing with material often, which is widely available. And that's great, that's fantastic. Millions of people have watched Guy, and they should have opinions about it. But it's also the case that if I have a PhD and I have trained myself in specific ways, I might have ways of talking about Guy which is not available to people out there. In other words, I think as humanities people, we need to do two things at the same time. We need to both be assertive about the specialized knowledge that we produce and not be apologetic about it. Right? We don't need to apologize. We don't need to say, Derrida is really hard to read, but maybe there's something useful in reading him, and yes, he's hard to read, and yes, you need to be trained to read him in a particular way, and I'm not going to apologize for that. But at the same time, and you can think of this as a question of translation, we should go from that specialized knowledge and translate it for a wider public, right? And I think we should do that because a lot of things that we learn in our specialized training is worth sharing and worth kind of putting it out there for debate. So I think we need to do both of those things, and you can think of it as a process of translation, right? And so more, and this I've done all my life, really, but more concretely, writing for newspapers, opinion pieces, and writing blogs, which also I do, right? So these are ways of trying to take specialized, only a very small number of people who read Flesh and Fish Blood. They may be the right people, like Gowrie and other people, but they'll be, but only a few people will read it, and that's okay. It's not meant to be read by somebody taking the train into Hyderabad at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's not that kind of a book. But I can take some of what I say there and make it available, in wider forums. So that's the idea behind public humanities, right? But I think the larger question, which is really, at a time where I think it's not just in India, but I think everywhere, definitely in the US as well, where I think the ability to speak freely and to inquire freely is under attack. I think public humanities is one of the ways in which we both assert the relevance of the humanities and insist that within the university, all opinions are okay. which doesn't mean that all opinions, non-credentialed, non-evidence-based, crazy opinions are not okay. So there are protocols for academic knowledge, right? I mean, there are certain rules that we follow because we're within the university. So those rules have to be followed. But everybody, I'm a Marxist by training. Everybody doesn't have to be a Marxist, right? Every student in my class doesn't have to be a Marxist to get an A. But they have to show me that they can function according to the rules of academic work. So I have to make a space for somebody who may not think as I do. And it's important to do that because I want a space for myself to say things that may not always be accepted. So I think that's the challenge of doing that kind of public humanities work in the university.
When it comes to maybe contemporary ways of adapting a text, be it fan fiction written by readers as a response to a novel that they have read, or maybe YouTube mashups made by fans in response to a movie. So if we consider these as adaptations, do you think the viewers and readers are becoming more participatory in nature and they are contributing or entering a new knowledge culture and where they are generating new knowledge through the participation of viewers as well as the readers? If we take into account fan fiction as adaptation, or if we take into account YouTube mashups as adaptations made by the viewers and made by the readers?
I think the answer is again yes. I mean, these are like, obviously, though to go back to the original point of departure for our conversation with oral performance, in a way, the oral performance, where you had a live audience and you had call and response and give and take between the performer and the audience, reproduces some of the things which are going on in the internet, where you can write something and then people write responses. That isn't the time delay necessarily. They curse you out, they do, they say they abuse you or they laud you, whatever might be the case. So some of that form of interaction between an audience and then the original text are coming back. There are the rewritings, the mashups, and so on and so forth. The only thing which I would say, so in answer to your question, yes, and the more there is, the better. I don't make judgments about saying it should be this way or not. But I will say this, that it's a mistake to think that just because there is more popular participation in a particular medium, that it's necessarily better politically or ethically. That's not the case. I think, Donald Trump being a great example of this, a kind of a neo-fascistic figure who's completely the creation of the new media environment. There's nothing wonderful about him, no matter how, great, he's a creation of the new sort of media. So I would say that the question is always not whether a medium is democratic in itself or not, because a medium can be democratic or not. Novels can be progressive, they can be not. They can be democratic, they can be not. Films can be democratic, they cannot, may not be. What makes the difference is the institution within which the medium is created. Right? So, for example, what I would say is that YouTube is only as democratic as the economic system within which it functions. Just the fact that I can upload a YouTube video doesn't necessarily mean anything. If you're in China, they will control your YouTube video. It doesn't matter, right? So that's what I mean by, these are profit-making corporations, their freedom, their commitment to your freedom is only this deep, right? So it's always a mistake to make very large claims about a particular medium. And we as critics and scholars are tempted to do this, and I remember this because I'm old enough to do this. When internet was still like in the 90s, when the internet was created and was coming together, all this scholarship, this is wonderful, the world is going to change, revolution, now look at how great it is, anybody can do anything, the collapse of hierarchical media. I don't see it 20 years later. It's like, it's very discriminatory in so many ways. How many people have access to the internet? What's your bandwidth, right? Do you have like all the technologies by which you can create? So I think it's a mistake and this always happens. 10 years from now, there'll be something else. It won't be the internet. It will be the newest technology, and claims will be made about how this will be the most democratic thing ever. but it's only as democratic as the institution within which it is created.
It's not democratic. Does it generate a participatory culture from the part of the viewers or the readers?
I think it definitely does encourage a participatory culture, but I suppose what I'm saying is that just the fact that, and I'm not necessarily saying that you're making this claim, but just because it is participatory doesn't mean it's good, right? Because you could create an avatar, right? I mean, I need not be S. Shankar. I could be, S 1952 or 1962 or 1972. You can guess which year I was born. And I can get onto all these different things and just say whatever I like. Is that a good thing? I mean, it's participatory in a particular way, but the anonymity which I'm able to give myself doesn't necessarily mean that I'm saying sensible things. One of the things which I tell my students is that there's something to be said for, and this term is used, right, curated websites, right? The difference between curation is when somebody's making a selection for you and like the New York Times or the Hindu or the Deccan Herald, we would call it a curated publication because somebody is actually selecting stories and giving them for you, as opposed to Facebook or like some other sites that are completely uncurated, where your news comes in depending on who your friends are and so on and so forth. It's a mistake to think that Facebook is necessarily better than the Deccan Herald, right? Because the Deccan Herald, and I have no idea what the politics of Deccan Herald are, but I can pinpoint its politics, right? I can say, I go to the Deccan Herald website, if I'm a thinking person, I know what I'm going to get, right? So I would read it in that way, and it also creates a common, place for debate, right? Whereas you have the fragmentation of sort of, under the guise of participation, and you have the fragmentation of kind of opinion in the other media. And I'm not going to say it's bad, but I'm not going to say it's good either. All I want to say is that there can be good things on it, and as I said, I've recently in the last few years started blogging, and I think I find it a very liberatory kind of medium. But I'm not necessarily going to say that blogging is better than writing for the Hindu or some other publication, which also I've done and I continue to do. So.
I think we should liberate this conversation and make it more democratic. So could I ask the audience to ask any questions that they have?
So in novels like Midnight's Children or a more recent one, The Book Thief, where the plot is based on a historical moment, or it's based on history, and the essence of it lies in its narration. Like in Midnight's Children, we have Salim Sinai, who narrates the story of India's independence, being an unreliable narrator. He himself admits it in the novel. And in Book Thief, the death is personified, and he describes his encounter with a girl, 3 times his encounter with a girl. So the movies, and for both the text, movies have been made, but the narration, the way the novel says the story, the narration is of the more important, but in the film, the story is of importance, so the entire essence of the novel is lost. So how do you think film can actually manage to keep that essence of the novel intact?
I think it cannot. Yeah, that's the short answer. I think it cannot. And, this is something which I sort of insist on. I've written about this quite a bit, that it's important to think of translation as interpretation, right? So, in a way, I think that's even more true of adaptation, right? I think it's always a mistake to ask, was it faithful, did it capture the novel? I think of them, as Anantamurthy and Karnad, 2 different texts, each great in its own way, and it's a mistake to say how faithful is it, right? Or Stanley Kubrick and Proctor Corin, very different, but it's a mistake to say, okay, did he do exactly what Anthony Burgess did in the novel? I think it's a mistake to do that. I think those are 2 different texts. And I think your question also points out something which we were getting to earlier with the Narayan and the that they want in the film guide, I think Midnight Children is deeply ironic. I mean, if you want a definition of ironic, modern, postmodern, modernist storytelling, there it is. That's Midnight Children. That's a definition of irony. And film, I think as a medium, and I'm going to be very careful here because it's not entirely true, but I think, let's just put it this way. Irony is a much more difficult thing in film than it is in novels. I don't know if everybody will agree with me. Clarification is no. Okay. But no, that's all right. I just wanted to say something which was provocative, which I'm not sure that I believe in entirely myself, but the kind of, I think the camera commits you, let's say this, let's not say irony, but let's say the camera, commits you to a certain kind of narrative perspective, which I think the novel maybe doesn't.
Maybe makes it makes the narrator invisible, so maybe we don't see the irony is sort of lost in that.
And whenever films have tried to make the narrator visible, they always feel a little clunky. The most classic way, of course, is the voiceover, right? And it's very hard to sustain over a period of time. But there are, of course, other ways in which the narrator is made visible in film. Whereas, the great American novelist Henry James said that all fiction